So we're just sitting here in Shinjuku, kind of mellow morning, getting ready to go to the beach. Everyone's hanging around. Some guys are in the shower, having a cup of coffee, and just having some nice conversation, you know, this morning here. What are you guys feeling about Japan? What are you feeling?
It's good. Good vibes.
Yeah?
People are pretty friendly. Yeah.
You should come over here. Well, remember that conversation we were going to have, you know, about Japan? That'd be a good time to do it, you know? Yeah. Yeah, just lay downstairs, sitting down here near here. We could talk about, we got so much stuff we could talk about, but we last year came here, and then Alex was here, and then you ended up staying in Japan for one whole year. So like summit to summit, you were here.
That's right.
Fucking A, right?
That's right.
And you went through quite a journey. I know the first year in Japan is like quite a journey, really.
Fuck.
It's like not what you expect, right? It's you know, winter comes and nobody's here, and
That's right.
it's all Japanese. Like it gets overwhelming. Like when you're in a monoculture, it can be sometimes.
I didn't think I was gonna make it, man.
Yeah. No, I know.
It was
I know.
Getting close. You're very close. I was like, fuck. Running out of money. Gotta
Yeah.
ask my parents for something.
Yeah.
I'm like a fucking bum.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what month was that? So you got here in August, right?
Yeah. August. Like best summer of my life.
Yeah.
But then just coming down.
Oh, okay.
Just
So
kinda-
fall came. Well, that's the other thing too in Japan. Like the winter comes, like summer's like the best. If you like single girls and you like fun, summer's like awesome. It's so funny. Nobody comes here in the summer, which is hilarious. In fact, one guy canceled because he's like, "Oh, it's going to be hot in the summer," and it is, but it's so good. Like it's the festivals, the everything is fucking awesome in the summer. You know, you just got to kind of like, there'll be a couple hours every day where you're kind of trying to stay out of the sun and heat and stuff, but it just turns out to be like just a cornucopia of fun things to do. Yeah.
Right.
Just always laughter, you know, exactly. And like, and then when the winter comes, when it starts getting cold, I always felt depressed. Like I was dreading the end of summer. I used to dread the end, even though fall's good and everything.
It was pretty good.
It is. Fall's good. You're climbing, you're hiking. You know, everybody's wearing like hiking clothes because it's basically ordered by law, Japanese social law. Right. Got to wear brown clothes, you know, and you know, hiking. You know,
Wear this gay backpack.
got to have gay backpack. Yeah. And then that goes on, and then that's pretty good. Like the weather is like probably best in fall, really. But it's just, it's something about like it's ending. There's something impending. Like that's what I always felt like. And then the winter comes like just suddenly. Like I'll be sitting there in shorts in like December 10th with like my door open with sun just kind of coming in the window, just like right here, where I feel like it's still warm outside, but it's actually cold. And then there's just that one day when I'm outside and it's just the wind just and there's no way I can like you forget about it. It's just freezing cold winter.
How cold does it get?
Well, it's a wet cold.
Yeah.
So it snows. It'll snow like once. Usually once a year it'll snow in Tokyo. And it doesn't stay long. It just goes away. But it is cold. Like it's just like you're just feeling it. And the thing is, there's a lot of good parts to it. Don't get me wrong. It's a sunny city. It's like there's more sun in Tokyo than you'd imagine. You know, it's sunny a lot. So even when it's freezing, it is sunny usually. But the days that it's not, when it's like rainy and just about to turn to sleet, and then it's like, yeah, those days like winter's coming and your feet get, you know, they just like, oh. Luckily, there's always like sweetie pies, you know, draining your sack. That helps a lot. But if you don't have that, like, oh man, like it gets rough, you know, in the winter, right? If girls are coming by with like fluffy little hats and stuff and bringing over like breakfast and stuff, then things are fine. But
Snow bunnies.
Yeah, snow bunnies. Yeah, and then it's fine. And they're making little plans all the time. You know, oh, you know, I know you like, because basically here was my strategy in Japan. I thought this was a perfect strategy. I forgot to tell you this. My strategy was it's always summer in my fucking house. Okay, that's basically my philosophy. It's summer in my goddamn house. And so I would go and get a kerosene heater, you know?
Oh.
Yeah, kerosene heater. And kerosene heaters, they blast. Like, they're blast. And they're hot. And it's a good hot. It's a good heat. It's not a electric heat. It's a gas heat. So I would carry the kerosene and go buy it and go through the hassles of having kerosene. And I would just, and it wasn't cheap, you know. And then I would just blast the thing full blast. Like, even if my doors were open, I'd have the heater just blazing full speed. So, you know, so I could change the air, but I would still be warm, you know. Mm-hmm. And I'd be cruising around in, if it was really cold, I'd be cruising around in Uniqlo, like silky long underwear.
Oh, yeah.
Like Spider-Man. I'm like Spider-Man in my fucking place. It's warm in there. I'm just like cruising around. And then when I went outside, it was winter, but it was summer in my fucking house. And that was the thing. I could dress, like I could wear shorts in my house in the winter with no shirt, you know. And it was fine. And that was the best for me because mentally you stay really fit. You stay like in a great mood all winter doing that. Yeah, you may pay a little bit more for electricity or whatever, but yeah, it's like whatever. It's totally worth it, man. Because other people, they get all depressed. I know that, you know, like that winter affective thing. Yeah, no, that doesn't get me. Fuck that. I'm not into that. Yeah, people act like it's like something inevitable, but you always have some control in life. But you have to think of you got to think of a way that you can somehow you can beat it, right? You know what I mean? Right? Yeah, you can beat the fucking. You're not a victim, right? Yeah.
Yeah, man, just sitting by like a fucking window, just soaking up some sun in the winter.
True.
That's what I did sometimes.
Yeah, just let it hit your face, you know? And there's like a little crack in the door, just enough. And the heat just coming right on your face, you know? Yeah, that's a good feeling.
It's good.
Definitely. Good. What was it like? What did you... just kind of in a nutshell, what was your journey living here for a year in 2023, 24? You had a visa, so you had...
I had a 1 year visa, working holiday.
Working holiday, yeah. So British have that?
British have that. Most Europeans have that.
Really?
Americans don't.
Yeah, Americans don't have it.
I think Canadians do and Australians definitely do.
Yeah.
I think they can do a bit more, actually.
Okay. So basically, the Commonwealth countries can get what's called a working holiday. Did you have to apply for that or what?
Yes, you have to apply through the embassy in your home country, and you have to go for a bit of a rigmarole, a bit of a fucking planning. It takes a while, so make sure you line up the dates, like when you want to go. So I came in summer, like on July 20th, so it was like a really good time. Like I picked a perfect time.
Oh, okay. So you had summer to summer.
Yeah, summer to summer.
Nice. And then you get the 1 year. How long did that take?
To get the visa?
Yeah. Just a roundabout.
2 months, maybe.
Okay, 2 months. So it takes a little while.
And
then when you have that visa, you guys, you don't have to do anything really. You got 1 year in Japan, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. But, as with everything, there's always a little but. One of them is that if you don't do anything, if you don't pay taxes, at the end of the year, you got to get the fuck out. Like you're not going to stay. But if you kind of do the right thing and you're paying taxes and trying to get your shit together, getting a job and stuff, you know, teaching English and stuff, then, you know, at the end of the year, they're like you were a success, right? Like they do this so that you come here and work and basically contribute, right? They don't want you to just come here and just eat cans of tuna and leave, you know. They want you to come and be successful, right? And then help Japanese people learn English, basically. That's mainly what it is. That's why it's Commonwealth, is because of English, you know. And so, you know, it's one little like hack, you know. It's like if you speak native English, you got one little hack, you know?
Right.
And that's it's no small thing. Sometimes just simply being somewhere can open the doors to wonderful things, right?
Yeah. Being a native English speaker.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy. Just go out and look for Eikaiwa schools. Or if you have a university degree, it's fucking easy. You should go and apply to some schools. Right.
Having a degree, right.
Right. You can get working visa easy. Very easy.
Right. As long as you got you got the 4 year degree. Doesn't matter what it is. People are always worried about that. Any topic, a 4 year degree from a university, not a trade school, Yeah, 4-year, not a 2-year school, a 4-year degree.
Yeah, bachelor.
Yeah, that's why everybody, it's funny on the kind of the red pill forums and like basically in the zeitgeist of the manosphere, there was this thing like for years, university's a total ripoff. I'm not that stupid. I'm not going to do that. And I was watching this and I was just thinking, these guys probably don't know that much about the world. Like a university degree is not a joke. It is worth getting a university degree. Like people, whether it's going to always be this way or whatever, like people respect a university degree. They do.
Well, just because you mentioned that,
Yeah.
The visa that I'm going to apply for
Yeah.
now, I can only apply to it because I went to one of a list of universities.
Right. So you went to a good university, yeah. And then what visa are you going to apply for?
It's called a J-Find.
J-Find?
It's for people looking for jobs in Japan or starting a business in Japan.
Okay, so starting a business, working in Japan. And it's kind of more of a upscale visa for like better, they're looking for people from
Yeah, they're
more
looking for
Ivy
qualified
League,
people,
yeah, type of thing, yeah. So like, I would say like for guys that are never going to travel, they're just going to sit in their hometown and, eat McDonald's forever. Those guys don't have to worry about any of this stuff. But if you're going to be like, if you want to bone chicks over here and you want to travel, you better get a fucking degree. Like go and finish. I know when my degree, like I almost didn't finish because like I didn't want to finish, to be honest. I was a good salesman. I thought, well, fuck it. I'll just sell. Doesn't matter. And then my parents kind of pushed me actually to finish because it took me 6 years because I changed schools 3 times. I went to one school and it was like super expensive and I felt bad for my parents paying for it. And so then I went to a junior college and then I started drinking all the time. And then like I did good, but I didn't really care, And then I went to a 4-year school, like a regular state school. And then I was still thinking like, I don't know. I was driving up there like an hour each way and it just didn't seem like that. Like I felt like they were not that smart the guys in school. Like I tested out pretty high IQ, so I felt like, fuck these idiots. There's really not much here, they're just like chasing after social clout, And I just wasn't into it. Like, and I was thinking of not finishing, but then my parents are kind of like, no, you can stay at the house as long as you want, as long as you finish school. And I knew, even though I didn't stay in the house, I still realized that they really wanted me to finish school, like really wanted me. So I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to finish no matter what. So even though I moved into the fraternity house, I did finish. And that was the big difference because if I wouldn't have finished, I had no idea, but my whole life would be different. Like I wouldn't have been here. No way. Because I barely pulled it off. Because I didn't want to work a regular job. So I was always trying to find a kind of a loophole, And that's hard in Asia. It's hard. But then if you would have added on that I didn't have a degree, the odds would, like I would have rolled snake eyes some year and then just been fucked, and had to leave. And it's really hard to come back because money and time and also I had good opportunities back home. So it wasn't like going to be a tragedy, but I mean, fuck, at the end of the day, I wanted to stay in Asia. I came here and then, I saw what you guys are saying, and I was like, man, why would I not want to be here, Like, this is good here, So what was your journey? Like, what was your, I guess one thing people don't talk about is your mental state in Japan when you're alone. Like, it's hard, I know. It can be.
Well, I think it went through a bit of a, I don't really want to say it like this, but like mental health, or like, not quite mental health, like spiritual, kind of just like being culturally detached from your own society.
Yeah.
And being alone and by yourself in like a different culture, it kind of just makes you like wander into like kind of a different headspace than you like usually are. So it kind of makes you feel very distracted. Like at some point I wasn't really like finding jobs. I was just in this like hostel, kind of like working as like a hotel worker for just like accommodation.
I remember that.
Yeah, I wasn't really getting things going on, like nothing. It was just kind of depressing, like working at this shitty fucking place.
And also too, like I visited you during that time, right? The Kyoto Summit, right? And the thing is I kind of told you right away, like, see, the thing is in Japan, there's a hierarchy for everything, right? Everything is a hierarchy. And I could immediately see that you were in the wrong place. Like you were in the Czech, the Bosnian people kind of thing. And in Asia, people in Asia, they're realistic. They know where they stand in life. Like they know that people are not, it's not Disneyland. Like there are categories for you, you know? And so it's not that the other people, there's anything wrong with them. These are great people. He says, so I have a great friend who's Bosnian. He's probably got 40 guys working for him. He's making millions. And he's a cool guy too. He just moved back to Bosnia and opened a, what's it called? Deprivation tank. Because we did it together in Bangkok. We did a like deprivation. He actually paid for me. He wanted to take me. He's like, you got to see this. You got to see this. It's awesome. So he took me, and then he opened up his own, the first one in Bosnia, or whatever. But the thing is like when you travel in Asia, like you have to live with the fact that there's different levels or there's different things for different people. In other words, right? So you were working in a place that was not for British people, basically. Like you had you had a passport that gave you more access to different things, and you were below that,
right?
Essentially,
right.
And that's every Japanese person would agree with me. I mean, I'm not talking shit here. This is actually
it's true.
It's very important to know this stuff when you travel. When you live in America, you can just live in fantasy land all the time. It doesn't matter because the law will always protect you. But in the real world, you have to look at it and say, okay, what's going on here? Like, because the thing is, if you're British and you're working in a place where, you know, like it's not for you, people are going to look down on you because like, oh, because they always know there's like total loser British people too.
Yeah.
There's like total loser American guys too. They're like, they know that. So they say, oh, he's one of those. Like, that's what they start to think is like, you're worse than the Bosnian because you must be such a retard that you can't even like get a regular situation right. So like you're with the Bosnian, like, oh, you're like just scum of the earth. That's the way they would think about you if you stayed there. Because that would, sadly, that would be it. It would be worse than Bosnian. They say, okay, he lives here, he does this, he works hard, good for him, good luck on him. That's the way Japanese are. They're not vindictive. It's just, you know, that's the job you can get, right? So you got to have self-esteem, and you got to have brains, and you got to constantly keep moving. Now, I just want to say real quick, like Bosnian type of dudes, or people from countries that are looked down like that, they often end up becoming the richest foreigners in Japan because, and I've said this before, it's because they don't have the easy way. So they have to do something. So the Pakistanis, Bosnian, they ended up like with they buy used cars and sell them. And they end up, if they succeed, which is not that common, but if they do, and I got friends that did, and they kick ass. Like they end up with like employees and assets and houses and like kids in international school and like real successful because they didn't have any easy way. So it was like, you buy this car, you sell it. You fuck up one time, you're out of here. You fuck up one car, lose money, you're fucking gone. Yeah. No one's going to save you, right? You got to be a genius. You got to be working 24 hours a day. You got to pull in every fucking tax scam you can, you know, like basically to just make it work, you know. And then so anyway, so you were down, and I never talk about it, but I was down my first year. Like I called my parents. I wouldn't even remember, but I called my parents. And my parents were like, well, if you're so miserable, why don't you leave Japan? And then I was pissed when I hung up because I was like, I'm not miserable. Like I'm just, and I realized later it was culture shock. Yeah. Culture shock is like hard, man. You think it's going to be easy for you. It's hard. It's like they look at everything differently. And it's just like, it sounds so simple, but it's not. It's very, very, I think it's a great growing experience. At the end of the day, is you really become bicultural. Yeah, maybe bisexual too. No. By species.
Well, hold on now.
For guys that are new to the channel, we're always fucking around. Okay, so just FYI. Okay, yeah. So let's see. So you were down. Like I was mentally down. Like you said, maybe not mentally, maybe just. I was mentally down, man.
I was down.
I was fucking down. I know.
Depressed.
Yeah, I was fucking depressed. I was like, fuck, And I felt like I was getting a little bit conspiratorial too,
Yeah.
because Japan was like on top of the world back then. And I had been fucked over, like, for not being Japanese. And so I was like getting a little, they're going to take over the world type thing, because this is the bubble, right? Yeah, I was like reading all those books back then.
Oh.
Yeah, like Japan is number one, everyone's going to be a slave to the Japanese. Yeah, it's like, it was easy to get into back then. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like there's always some mental thing you can fall into. Because no one's around you. So, with the internet now, people can do it anywhere.
Right.
But like back then, like you had to kind of be in some special place to fall into this stuff.
Yeah, very malleable, flexible.
Yeah. You realize like, like when you are at home in society, which everybody talks bad about, but there is things protecting you.
Right.
You have like you fall down and then there's
someone else is like, what the fuck are you doing?
yeah, like your neighbor, like if they see you passed out drunk or something, they might try to help you or something, right? You're not completely on your own, right? Someone knows you. Oh, Alex, are you okay? And you're like embarrassed, and then you don't do it again, right? It's like there's little things like that. But when you're overseas, man, it's like you fall and there's like nothing,
Right.
And then it's like
The
shit,
abyss.
yeah, the abyss, yeah. Like I imagine myself getting one of my friends, that old Japanese guy. He said, "Don't walk too close to the fucking cars." He goes in Japan. He goes, "You never know. Someone could see that you're a foreigner and hit you."
I thought about that.
Yeah, and he said that to me, and I was like, because the Japanese people treated me really nice, at the time, and he said, yeah, but there's that 1 in 10,000. You never know. He goes, you never know. You never know. He goes, walk in the inside, and that was good advice for me because I was like, you just never know. Like there's people on the edge, right? And they can see you because you don't look Japanese. If you look Japanese, you have different problems. But if you don't look Japanese, there is that thing. There is that kind of, and like there's little things that you don't think about. Like when my sister moved here and she had 2 kids, like 2 blonde girls, right?
Oof.
And they're super cute, right? And so the concierge, like advisor person said, because I said, oh, don't worry, it's totally safe. Kids go to school on their own. And then she said, yeah, they do. But girls like this look like dolls to the Japanese. And she said there's certain people in a kind of a bad state psychologically who actually want to have a doll in their house. And she said, just keep it in mind. Like there's that 1 in a million odd person that just sees those girls and they're just like little perfect dolls to them. And they want to own that doll. And so there's things you deal with when you live in another country that you just didn't know about. You just never imagined.
Right.
Because I thought, well, these girls can go anywhere. And I still think it was totally safe in their neighborhood and everything, and there was never any problem. But you have to be a realistic person if you're in another country. You can't just... You got to know, okay, there's these things that maybe I don't know about, Because I lived in Japan for a long time already. I was like 10 years in Japan. I thought I knew everything. I did as a single guy. But I didn't know everything as with kids and stuff. So I had to learn, to give good advice. That's partly why I can give advice to so many kinds of guys, because I've had so many kinds of friends going through so many different things that I realize, oh, we're all different. The Japanese see us different. They treat us different. You got to know, because some things that, people say, oh, you're so lucky because you're this or that. Fuck that thinking. That's not even true. There's advantages you have and there's disadvantages. For every way you look, I don't care what passport, there are things you can do and there's things you can't do. And there's things that suck and there's things that are good. For everybody. I'm talking everybody. And you have to know what's the deal for you. Realistically. What's the fucking deal for me? People, if anybody comes up to you and says, oh, you're privileged, it's lucky for you, they don't know. They're not experienced people. They're not experienced multicultural people. Because there is shit that can fuck you up bad. You have to know. You have to know.
You're very exposed.
Yeah. You're exposed to whatever happens. In like countries like Thailand, if they have coups often, right?
Oh, yeah.
In the Philippines, they have like people power, things like that. Kind of revolutions, It's good to know, like, that if there is a revolution or a coup, probably nothing will happen to the foreigners. And generally, like in Thailand, like the foreigners just sit there and drink beers and watch the coup go on, and nothing happens. So you think, well, that's going to happen every time.
Well, it's not.
Every single time. It'll be totally fine, and I'll just laugh about it. Unfortunately, if you look at history, there's times when it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
So you just got to know, like, hey, where would I go if shit hit the fan? And I will tell you this, the number one thing you should do is go to a 5-star hotel. If the 5-star hotel is the best place to be, if any shit really hits the fan, because 5-star hotels are designed to protect VIPs at some level. They're designed, like, if there's a coup, the last place that's gonna fall will be the embassy, of course, but before that is going to be like the 5-star hotels. They'll have contingency plans to get people to the airport. They'll be able to contact the embassy directly. They'll have private cars zipping out of the back, especially a nice 5-star hotel. Like in Shanghai, like there was always a feeling of simmering anger, like a new Tiananmen could happen, right? Always. And so I lived right next to the Ritz-Carlton, and that's where Obama stayed.
Obama.
So, like, you know, one, I wanted to live in that area anyway, but as soon as I knew that he stayed there, I knew this was the place. And then also they had all the U.S. state. And one of my friends was a lawyer for the state of Illinois, and so she lived there. And I knew that they get advice they don't tell people. Like, basically, like CIA tells them, like, this is safe, this is not safe. And when I knew she was in there, I was like, I want to live right next to that. Because if anything does happen, like, basically, like, I'm always thinking of the future. I'm like, it might look like I'm just so, people think, oh, he has no plans. He's not. Even though that's the way I live, I've got things thought out for things that you would never imagine. Like, I've just, over the years, realized, hey, why not? You know, why not have a little plan for this? Just in case, you know, it's not a big deal. It's not a high probability. But what if there was an easy way to fucking not get fucked over? Like, what if there was a fun, safe way that I could be safe if it did happen? And if this was a safe place, right? So why not think it, you know, you got plenty of time when you're overseas. Just kind of just start thinking smart. I'm always thinking, like, where can I meet the most fresh, sweet, young, virginal girls? I'm always like, what area has the most of that, right? Just to be around it is pleasant to me. Just to walk by it, just to hear it laughing, hear girls laughing is just lovely for me. So I'm always thinking of many things, like what's the best way for this, you know, and then also, you know, on the very back burner is security, but and also security for you, depending on how you look, because it's different for everybody. It really is. It really is truly different for everybody. So, you know, like some foreigners will even have like some kind of weapon in their house, you know, like a baseball bat or something, because baseball is popular here. So it's easy to get a cheap baseball bat. And then if anything did happen, you could take care of a lot of business with a baseball bat. You know, that's all you need, really.
Yeah. I remember buying this hunting knife back in my house. It's like, oh, if anyone breaks into my home, I'm definitely using this thing. Yeah,
it's good to think of, you know, just have something just in case, just like a baseball bat, because you can go play baseball too, you know. So, you know, it's always not bad to have a bat sitting around, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You can use it for stuff. It can reach things, you know. It's like, you know, and then if anything ever really did happen, you know, you'd have.
Well, if your hallways are quite narrow, it kind of sucks, right?
Well, you might have like a little piece of pipe or something, or, you know, a short one, you know.
Little pipe.
Yeah, just like a little pipe for just popping off, you know. Yeah, because imagine if there was like in Japan, like so the yen has gone down to 150, right? What if it went to 1,000? Which I think it probably will. Like, what if it went to 1,000? Then what will happen is you'll have starvation, right? So, because they import most of their food. So you'll have people starving to death, right? And, you know, when people are starving to death, they do things that they wouldn't usually do. Like, that happens when people starve. Like, they'll do anything to get food, anything. Like in the war, I read the diaries of the soldiers and the civilians who died in Okinawa, and they were in the cave, and then one guy would like look up at the roof, and then he would see like a drop of water forming, right? And then he was so thirsty that he would kill the guy next to him to try to stand on him to get up to the roof. But the roof was like 15 feet high. Like it was 20 feet high. There's no way he'd get up there. But he was delirious. So he'd like kill the guy next to him just thinking that he might get that water, or he could stand on him, or, people just lose their mind when they don't have water, right?
Right.
At the end, right? So, if Japan did, it's a very isolated country. So if the yen did go to 1,000, there could be a serious breakdown of, basically civilization, like where you would be like in a position where it'd be tough, And the other problem with Japan is it's not Haiti. Haiti is a small country with not many people, but Japan is like so big. It's like bigger than half as big as America, like all here, So that's a problem because you can't just send a few planes. You can't just send it, like it's really tough to help this many people. Even if the U.S. like really went all out and just used every plane they had and all the food, it'd be tough for America to save Japan. Really tough. Like people would starve to death no matter what. It would be rough. If there was a real breakdown of like all the shipping lanes and everything, right? Like it would be really tough. It would basically be impossible to save Japan. Just because there's not enough ships. You need so many ships and so many planes. Just logistically, they could make the planes, but they can't just make them just to wait, So realistically, unblackmailable, you're always just thinking of the smartest thing you could do, right? So if there was a total breakdown where I would probably find a way to get out of the country, but if I didn't, then I would head to the ocean and I would fish. I'd find a way to fish because they're not going to kill you for fishing. Like everybody's going to be fishing. And I would find a way to get fish out of the, or some kind of food out of the ocean.
Well, people would buy up boats very quickly, right?
I can swim. I don't need a fucking boat.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't need no fucking boat.
Okay.
Yeah, so my friend, he actually, Japanese guy, we used to go rock climbing. His hands were so fast that he could stand next to a river and wait and then slap the fish out of the water onto the land without a fishing pole. And he did it for me all the time when we went fishing, when we went camping. So I know that's possible. But he would stand there like a fucking stone for like an hour, And then the fish would come, and then he was just like one move. He'd slap it out of the fucking, because it was shallow.
You have her teach you?
Well, I just watched him. I've never been that hungry that I needed to, but I've always thought, you know what? I could do that. You just stand there forever. And finally a fish will come, and you get one chance to slap it out, right? And then if you slap it out, you just slap it way the fuck out of the river, right? And then it's going to be easy to catch, right? It's just sitting there. So, like I have kind of little plans, if something like a little river, like just up in the hills, that's kind of like they have little ponds, it kind of like accumulates. That's where you want to be, right there. And that fish is going to come for sure, because the fish don't know, they're just going up down the river, right? So like there's little skills you want to have and ideas you kind of have in your mind, just in case things get. See, the thing is, here's the difference: is the preppers, they're wrong. Because if you're a prepper, right? So say I'm a prepper, so I have guns. Let's say I had guns. I had military grade house. Let's say I was a rich prepper, right? And I well then what would happen? As soon as society really fell apart, like really, then all the people are going to try to get in that house. And guess what? As a prepper, military bases have incredible security, right? It's because you've had thousands of years of military history. And they know all the things people do wrong. And it's all been planned into the military base. Like the sentries, the way they salute and they go and they do this and that. You need hundreds of people with thousands of years basically of military training to protect a base from all possible attacks, right? And then you have a prepper with no military training and a big gun who's just sitting there with windows, right?
Yeah.
That rocks can go through, and just sitting there thinking he's totally safe. Like, unless you have enough money to make a military base, and you
What if they have a bunker?
and you have military. No, they're just going to get in. Anything will be broken into. They're just going to pour water on it. You know, just drown you, fire you, whatever.
Oh, smoke you out.
Yeah, they're just going to burn you out. Yeah, just start a fire. That's all they got to do.
Block the ventilation.
Yeah.
Starve mobs.
Yeah, with water. Yeah, there's no way. It's totally unrealistic. As soon as it really falls apart, they're gonna go down and get you. The reason is because 1, they're jealous, right? 2, they're gonna think all kinds of crazy thoughts, and then 3, they want your food and water, right?
Oh, they need it.
Yeah, they need it, and they're gonna get you.
They're gonna get you.
So preppers are just totally like the end game of a prepper doesn't even work. So the mid game doesn't work because buying a bunch of shit and sitting around when there's like food everywhere outside makes no sense.
Right.
So the end game of a prepper doesn't make sense. So the whole thing is just a total hand job.
Oh, first game is just make a tribe, make a base.
The thing is, most people don't really know what happens when society breaks down. They haven't read enough books to know what, like if you read Mao's Great Famine, that's a great book,
Oh, interesting.
Mao's Great Famine. That will tell you what happens. And you will understand a lot more. They read Mao's Great Famine. It was written by a genius guy. I know the guy. It's a brilliant book. It's based on total facts that have been now deleted because he got into the archives of the different prefectures or whatever, like in China. Basically, he got into the original. The Chinese keep very good records kept, and he got in there under another pretext and got all the stats of the deaths and everything. And it's a very excellent book. There's an audiobook too. I had the audiobook. I probably have it somewhere, actually. But when society breaks down, it's a totally different thing. But if you plan that I'm going to make it with nothing, then no one can stop you because you'll have multiple plans. This doesn't work, you go to that. You will have time. It's not like it all ends overnight. It's going to be a slow, long process of weeding out, right? A very slow, long process. You'll have time. As long as you know how to take care of yourself with nothing, and you don't need anything because you don't need any pills. You don't need any antidepressants. You can walk, you can run.
Water, food.
Yeah, that's right. You just need basically water because food only every 40 days you need. Yeah, but water you need.
But you start running out of energy after a week. So
yeah, but you can make it. Yeah. Yeah, you're going to get skinny, but you can make it. Water, you need water. That's the big thing. Food once in a while. Yeah. But yeah. So these things, like, it's funny they came up now. But yeah, I think as a person seriously thinking about leaving the matrix, right? You need to think about this shit. If you're fat, you're fucking dreaming. Like, you are fucking so dreaming that you think you're going to be able to survive the apocalypse. Like, you're so unserious guy. Like, that is just, you are living in fantasy land big time. And you should stay there. Like, if you even think that. Like, it is so tough to survive in Mao's Great Famine, man. You're talking fucking brutal. You need your wits about you. You cannot have an ounce of anything.
I think
You're ready to fucking go.
That's why they're smarter, like Chinese people. They have a lot of selection pressure from all that famine. Only the smartest people survived. Right?
Yeah, there was that too. The quickest witted, the most instinctual. Like, they would see somebody with red cheeks and they would immediately go and tear his house apart because they knew there was a dead body there, that the guy was eating meat. So he knew that his grandmother died or something and they were eating meat because they saw red on the cheeks. So they'd immediately go and just raid his house because they knew there was meat there. Like, you read that book, it'll tell you a lot. You'll learn a lot. It's a serious book. It's for serious guys. You want to know this stuff because this stuff is not unrealistic. It can totally happen. Society always breaks down. There's nothing to be afraid of for guys like us. We're going to be survivors, like all of us sitting here. Like, us four, right? We're going to be fucking fine. Like, really. We've already done the work. Like, we're ready. You know what I mean? And then it's just a matter of just you just got to let go of things easy. Your friend dies, you're not crying. You're just moving. You're just going on. You're not fucking wasting time. You're moving on. Best plan right now. Grab his shit, whatever he's got. He's got a knife. He's got stuff. and move on. You can grieve later, right?
Yeah, later.
Yeah, but you got to move on now. So it's like, I think that just simply going through this thought process and being, I think what is a mature man who can take care of himself is a very, very gratifying experience. And you'll realize how bullshit you were before when you really think things through. Because then you protect yourself against those things, right? You don't need motivation when you're thinking about Mao's Great Famine. You know what I mean? It's like, you just say, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Just shut up before you die. Just get it done. I need to lose. I'm going to lose it. There's no cheat days. There's no I'm just going to do it because fuck you. I'm just going to do it. And then at least I won't be able to blame it on that. At least I won't be my fault. You know what I mean? Something bad could happen, right? A famine. Pestilence, some kind of terrible disease could come that you can't, stop. Or even diarrhea can kill you, right? Things like that, just a bad stomach can kill you, But the thing is I think when you really, this is my belief, is that when a man really understands life, he feels a peace. Because he knows he has control of some things and not of others. He's done his best. He's done his best. He's ready for things that can be ready for. And he looks around him and sees all these weak people living in fantasy land. And then he just thinks, you know what? I've done my best. That's the best you can do.
Oh.
Like, you feel satisfied with that. It's not that you always win. It's just that you've done your best. Like, that you've done your very best. You feel good about that.
This kind of segues into, like, the last idea I learned from Japan. Just being able to pull shit off.
Oh,
like the very last part.
Did I do a video pull shit off? Because I was going to.
Yeah. I think you already may have mentioned it in like a previous video.
Pull shit off.
Just fucking get it done.
What does that mean to you? What is that? What happened?
Pull shit off is just like, just like I was at like some point where I was like, I really need like a teaching job. So I just walk into places, talk to people, just go into bars, go into schools, just pull shit off. Just go.
Just walk in the goddamn door.
Walk in the goddamn door with a fucking suit and tie on, just like, hey, what's up?
And how old are you?
Fucking 21. I was 21 at the time.
He's 21, and he's not using the internet because it didn't work.
Right.
So he's walking in the fucking door. He's desperate. That's when it changes. When you walk in the goddamn door.
That's right.
Hey, my name's Alex. I'm from the UK. I want to teach English. Do you know anything?
Right.
And they're like, what are you talking about? Right.
Right.
But then finally somebody like, oh, I need a private lesson or something. Or
right.
I know somebody that knows somebody, or they're hiring, or and then you start feeling better about yourself, right?
It's like, oh shit, this actually fucking works. And you're like, no way.
Right. I told you to do that.
Right.
It's like, fuck, man.
He told me.
It's like, you just gotta just go in the front door and knock on the fucking door. And that's so beautiful, man. It worked. Fuck yeah. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
You did it. No, you did it. How many guys your age have done that? Close to 0% have been to that level where you just got to where you just got to do it.
Right.
You got to walk in the door. And you can always survive when you know these things.
Yeah.
It's like if you're really hungry, don't sit around quiet.
Oh, no.
Just fucking knock on the door and say, fuck,
Got some food in there.
Yeah, I got no fucking food, You know what I mean? Like, it's like no shot. You're like, no food. Yeah. It's a smaller thing, but like when I was in this one island in the south, in the inland sea once, and it was New Year's Eve, it was New Year's Day or whatever, and I was there by myself. I walked like 40 kilometers that day. And that was the day I vomited and shit my pants and everything. Because my leg was still broken, but I didn't know. So I was walking on it. And then I just, I didn't know, but on this little island, it was, New Year's Eve, so New Year's Day, so everything was closed. There wasn't one convenience store. There wasn't one store. Mm-hmm. Everything was closed on the island. And so I finally had to just go to a country house and just knock. And I'd never done that before for food. I just said, I need some fucking food. Can I buy a can of beans or something? Yeah. And then the lady was like, oh my gosh, it's New Year's. What are you doing here? And she's like, yeah, everything's closed. And she's like, no problem. Yeah. Yeah. And the house looked like nobody was there too.
Ooh.
It was all like dusty and like, you know, but there was somebody there.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was a good thing. Like I learned, you know, if you fucking need food, you know.
If you're very desperate,
Yeah.
you'll be surprised what you can do. Right?
Yeah.
You'll really surprise yourself.
And then you feel like I can do anything,
It's
right?
like, fuck.
Yeah.
This is possible? Yeah, you do surprise yourself.
Wow. Would you say that's the big thing you got out of this year? What did you get out of this year? And then we'll end on your just lessons.
Yeah, like 1, pulling shit off. 2, kind of socializing more and like just speaking to people, just like getting over like some previous anxiety. Not anxiety, just
Being shy.
just shy. Right?
Right.
Just stop being shy because it just doesn't help you. It just really doesn't fucking help you doing this shit. And just many other things, just like being independent, learning the culture, learning people. I think the biggest part is just speaking to people. Yeah. Pulling shit off. Anything else? Yeah. Just trying to manage myself better, I think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Your weaknesses.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody's got them, right? Yeah.
And got weakness, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, you can't just let them take over and then just say you have a weakness when no one's helping you. Like that excuse just doesn't work. People were like, well, then fuck you, right? If you're just letting your own weakness take you down, then you gotta, then you're a man, right?
Right.
Because technically after 18, right, you're a man, right?
Right.
It's like, do you want to do that? No. Well, then don't do it.
Right. I think just like confronting yourself at the end of the day. It's just like growing a pair and just finding out what you got to do.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, do I really want to do this?
Mm.
And just going. Then, if I really want to do it, just get out the door. Just take a shower, put on some clothes, and do something. Right. So listen to the people around you. You know, they're giving, because like lots of people ask for advice.
Yeah.
But then they kind of just sit around, don't do anything. But like, if someone gives you advice, you know, just try it. Like lots of people don't try. I remember like giving advice to like same guys in the same hostel, and they're just like, he was pretty good Japanese as well.
Yeah.
And he just didn't take advice. He was a very shy person.
Right. Stubborn.
Very stubborn.
Secretly stubborn.
Very stubborn, right?
Yeah.
Very stubborn. I think
That's
that's
like a passive aggressive.
Yeah.
You gotta let that go too.
Right.
You can't be passive aggressive against people trying to help you, right?
No, you can't.
It's like people fucking are like, fuck you, right?
Right.
Fuck you and you're passive aggressive. I thought you were a nice guy.
Right.
I'm not gonna help you, you know?
Yeah.
Fuck.
So you got to drop things, man. You got to just drop
Right.
things that you're just carrying with you. You're carrying all this shit. Just stop. Just go forward. You know?
The shyness, right? I could see you being shy. I didn't have that issue. The shy part was okay with me, but I had other issues, you know. But that's very interesting. That's cool. That's fucking cool. Yeah, my mom said to me, she said, one day, she said, just out of nowhere, she goes, if the end of the world comes, I want to be with Paul. She goes,
Compliment.
yeah, he's going to be okay. Like, someone was talking about breakdown of civilization. And I thought that was a big compliment from my mom, you know.
Huge.
Yeah, I was like, because I thought, yeah, it probably is the best thing for her, you know. All right, so that's what you learned. Fucking awesome, man. And you're going to learn a lot more, man. That's wow, in 1 year.
1 year.
Woo! That's beautiful. All right, we better get to the beach because there's pink bikinis awaiting.
Yeah.